Well, getting the news that you're pregnant can release a wide range of emotions, especially if the pregnancy was unplanned. Now, people react in many different ways to a surprise pregnancy. But here's my favorite. Hey, welcome to Mornings with Bishop Robert. Thanks for joining me on the top spot on the internet for Beverages with a Bishop. And I have some big news for you today. Well, my goal is to introduce people to the Jesus they never knew, then help them get to know him and his word personally and better. So if our time together today speaks to your heart, let me invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Hey, join our email list. You'll get a free copy of my book, Count to One. You'll get Mornings with Bishop Robert sent directly to your inbox every day. And there's lots of other great benefits. So click the link down in the description. You'll get all the information you need and add your name to the list. You're pregnant. Well, if you're a married couple that's been trying, perhaps with some difficulty, to start a family, then those words will unleash exuberant joy. The thing for which you've been praying and working is now at hand. Hallelujah! You're pregnant! Well, if you're a married couple that thought your days of raising children were behind you, but your intimacy has resulted in a surprise coming to your later years, well, then those words may come with some trepidation. Planning a baby shower in your 40s pretty much says it all, doesn't it? Surprise! You're pregnant. If you're an unwed woman who discovers she's with child, there'll be a lot of questions and fears. I know of no one who has deliberately decided to create an obligation likely to run 2 decades or more, especially given the enormous difficulties being an unwed mother faces in so many ways. Raising a child on your own is an overwhelming challenge at best, and it can be a nightmare. Oops, you're pregnant. But if you're a teenage girl from a nice Jewish family in ancient Nazareth, well, you got a whole other set of problems. And that brings us to today's verse. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. Nazareth was a small little village in Mary's day. The living area of Nazareth was only about 30 acres. It would hold no more than a few hundred people. Nazareth, well, it's famous for only one thing. If Jesus hadn't been born there, it would be like hundreds of other villages from that region whose name no one knows. And yet into this tiny, unknown village, the angel Gabriel descends with news that will rock Mary's world, and then her family's, and finally ours. The virgin will conceive. Now, when Gabriel laid out God's plan for her to become pregnant with a child who would be called the Son of the Most High, she was dumbfounded. Now, Mary's questions to Gabriel let us know that she was old enough to be aware of the mechanics of the process. When Mary agreed to the Lord's plan, everything she had of value was up for grabs. Mary didn't know if her father and mother would believe her explanation. She could be fairly certain most of the village would not. Close behind her concerns for her parents would be questions about the man betrothed to become her husband. Joseph would have grave doubts, naturally. Well, that'd be the only natural thing about this entire situation. Well, the next thing we know, Mary's arising with haste and heading into the hill country to a town in Judah. Luke doesn't describe why she left so quickly. I wondered if it was to get out of town before she needed to explain what was happening within her young body. That's pure speculation, of course. And give birth to a son. When Mary arrives at the home of her relative Elizabeth, we learn of another miracle. Inexplicably, Elizabeth already knows Mary is pregnant. She knows the child to be born will become her Lord. She knows that it was the word of the Lord spoken to her that was the cause of Mary's condition. And we'll call him Emmanuel. Even Mary has begun to come to grips with her situation, because she answers Elizabeth and says, "From now on, all generations will call me blessed. For he who is mighty has done great things for me. Holy is his name." She knows she's a young single girl who's pregnant. She knows that when she returns to Nazareth in a few months, that'll be obvious. She knows her father and mother will demand answers. She knows her fiancé could demand her death by stoning, or even publicly divorce her. But Mary also knows that God is faithful. She knows he's mighty. She has nothing else to hold on to but the promise of his faithfulness in the midst of a situation that could still go horribly wrong in 100 different ways. Everything she held dear, her reputation, her family, her marriage, her future, they could all be gone as soon as her belly betrays her condition to Nazareth. But she chose to trust that the Father would care for her son. So Mary declares, "From now on, all generations will call me blessed." Well, it's Matthew who lets us in on Joseph's dilemma as he wrestles with Mary's condition. Now, either Mary hadn't told Joseph about her angelic encounter, or Joseph didn't believe her. Now, look, would you lay aside your halo for a minute? Let's not over-spiritualize this. If your daughter or fiancé was obviously pregnant, would you believe the explanation Mary had to offer? I'm not sure I would. So anyway, Gabriel shows up again and sets Joseph straight. But all that did was add Joseph into the mix. I mean, his entering into this marriage would be viewed by the whole city as a tacit admission of his own guilt. But both Joseph and Mary embraced the call of God and ignored anything else. Because God was involved, they were pregnant with destiny. The son to be born was a person of purpose. There could be no mistaking that. So, here's the big news I promised. Are you ready? Because Jesus was born, because he's invited you into his family, you too are a person of purpose. You, my friend, are pregnant. You are pregnant with destiny. He has a plan for your life. He has gifts prepared for you. And he's designed good works for you to walk in. Congratulations! You're pregnant. Well, I wish I could hang around to celebrate more. We're kind of out of time. But I do want to let you have the opportunity to be part of the team that is going to introduce Jesus to the people they never knew and help them get to know him and his word personally and better. Would you please like this video and help more people see it? Don't forget to click follow or subscribe so you and I can get together every day, and click the link in the description. I'll give you a copy of my book, Count to One, as a free gift. And one more thing. Share this video with a friend, would you? Because as you do, you're part of the team touching hearts all over the world with the love of Jesus. Thanks for helping.